Check out this just absolute delusional statement. Seattle Police Chief expects to be jailed under Trump administration. Well, what laws did you break? What laws did you break there, Chief Shon Barnes? What laws did you break? Because that's why you get jailed. So did you commit some kind of felony? I don't know. I'm listening. I'm listening. Because, interfering with an ICE operation is exactly breaking the law. So if you're doing that, maybe you should go to jail. Let's get into it. Here we go. Going to watch a fellow YouTuber, got her own show, Brandy Cruz. I know a lot of you follow her. Give her a big subscribe. I think her content is great. I'm going to play the first couple of minutes of this video because she really breaks this down. Here we go.
In the city of Seattle, he was before the Seattle City Council yesterday taking some questions. This guy, Shon Barnes, this is the one who failed his polygraph exam, right?
Yeah.
The Seattle PD. So I don't know how he was allowed to be the chief in the first place, but he was an out-of-state hire, and they'll only hire somebody that isn't white, and so they've got to make sure all the finalists, I think, were black. And look, they're
completely racist
people who are black to be the police chief of Seattle, like Carmen Best, but more and more, it just seems like the color of your skin is a key factor in determining who they're going to name the police chief.
Racist.
SPD Chief Shon Barnes, he was asked a question about, basically how he's going to protect people from federal overreach and stuff. Listen to what he said.
The federal government's decision to bring in the military, and I was a Marine, is not warranted. The Los Angeles Police Department have dealt with protests for a very long time. I can assure you they can handle it. Just like if there are protests in Seattle, we can handle it. We have.
But will you? That's the question. Will you handle it? No, you won't. And Trump knows that. So,
mutual aid. We have operational plans. And as the young folks would say, we're not new to this. We know how to handle this.
And Trump's not new to this either. Trump's has been here before. This is not his first rodeo. I mean, he was on the very edge of sending in National Guard multiple times during the fentanyl Florida era.
And I will do everything in my power, I want to be clear, to protect anyone in Seattle from anyone who comes to this city with the intention to hurt them or inhibit their First Amendment rights. And what that means is, at some point, I will probably go to jail and be in prison.
God,
because we have an administration that has threatened to jail politicians and indeed has done so in Milwaukee, if you remember.
Yeah, if you break the law. I mean, that's how this game works, right?
And has threatened to jail a governor.
Good.
I'm just a simple public servant. That's all I am.
Good Lord.
That's all I am. I'm just a simple public servant. But I'm going to do the right thing for the people in Seattle. And I would hope that's your expectation of me. And I hope that you will hold me accountable to that. Whatever happens, happens.
Let me, on behalf of all sane people, apologize to every single member of the Seattle Police Department that is the man who you have to work for. That's absurd.
That's absurd.
I'm ready to be arrested by Donald Trump. Saying that on the same day that you have left-wing rioters trying to successfully barricading themselves around the federal building, having clashes with law enforcement, including, by the way, your SPD officers. So whose side are you on? I mean, you're inviting. Now you have a police chief who is making it very clear that he's on the side of criminal rioters. Because that's what it devolves into every time.
Yep.
Oh, don't worry about the protests. We have that handled. But Donald Trump, I'll go to prison. For what? If Donald Trump continues to carry out lawful immigration actions here? If Donald Trump sends in ICE tactical teams to do what you're not allowing your officers to do and to prevent vandalism and violence and protect life and property? What are you even talking about? And then he mentions there, he's arrested people before. Remember in Milwaukee? That was the judge who was arrested by the FBI and faces federal charges for interfering in an immigration arrest. Remember?
I just recorded that. I mean, It is absolutely, it's laughable how bad this has gotten. I mean, these Seattle politicians, they must sign some kind of contract, just like, a lot of Hollywood wives sign contracts, and I'll do this for this much money. It must be part of their contract, or you got to just make all the most ridiculous, far left, ridiculous statements. Otherwise, you're no good to us here in Seattle. You got to go down this road of just being a libtard. In response to a question about federal action in L.A., Seattle Police Chief Shon Barnes said Tuesday he expects to be jailed. Comment was given to the Seattle City Council as part of his confirmation process. It was made in the context of intergovernmental standoff in L.A. Barnes referenced the recent arrest of a Wisconsin judge and the back and forth between Trump and Newsom. The Wisconsin judge, criminal behavior results in criminal charges. It's just that simple. I'll do everything in my power to protect anyone in Seattle from anyone who comes to this city with the intention to hurt them. Well, a lot of the folks that ICE is detaining are people who have hurt others here. So you should be on ICE's side here, but you're not. You're clearly not. Or inhibit their First Amendment rights. Not buying it. Not buying it. First Amendment rights, one thing. Throwing scooters, throwing electric bikes onto police cars? Not so much. Not so much. That's what we saw in LA. That's what we saw, in the fentanyl Floyd era. We saw that consistently, time after time after time again. And mainstream media lied to us and tried to convince us, oh yeah, these people are peaceful. How about this one? Los Angeles Police Department Chief, feds charged people for Molotov cocktails. We've seen that now more than we usually see. Molotov cocktails. It's becoming a thing. It's a bomb. It's an explosive incendiary device that is a bomb. You're talking about a bomb. Absolutely mind-blowing. Here's another one. 8 arrested in Seattle protests, dumpster set on fire, fireworks thrown at officers. They're using commercial-grade fireworks. Toss at cops. And you know what our leadership does? Mostly peaceful. It's mostly peaceful. I'll probably go to jail because Trump says I should. Just some real numbnut stuff going on. Seattle mayor urges peaceful protest, warns against fueling Trump narrative. What I don't think most of these folks realizes is that this is playing into Trump's politics book, just page by page by page. Because you're going to have a bunch of riots that aren't going to be controlled, because Seattle doesn't control riots. You're going to have a bunch of riots that aren't going to be controlled. Same thing in Portland, same thing elsewhere. And then does Trump send in the feds? Maybe he does, or maybe he just protects the federal buildings. That's kind of what he's got going on in LA. But he's got 4,000 folks ready to roll, ready to, yep, things get really out of control. Then we come in. And what that does is it looks to the leadership of these big blue cities, and it points people to the fact that leadership didn't take care of business. You let your own city burn. Trump had to bring in the feds. He had to bring in the National Guard, and he had to be the adult in the room because your own leadership, Shon Barnes, is talking some babble about not helping ICE. Well, why not? Well, because you've drunk the Kool-Aid and you signed a contract or whatever it was. You just think this is the way to go. I mean, what could go wrong with allowing a bunch of criminal illegals in our country? And then when we've got deportation orders that ICE is about to carry out, oh yeah, don't cooperate. I mean, why? Why do you want to keep the criminal illegals in the country? What's behind that? Why in Seattle is that such a big deal? Why in Portland is that such a big deal? Why in Chicago is that such a big deal? You want to keep criminals in the country. I mean, make that make sense. Make that make sense. They're not coming in and scooping up a bunch of innocent folks. They're not doing that. Here's what a Republican governor does. Greg Abbott to deploy National Guard amid Texas anti-ICE protests. He's going to go ahead and do it. Our governor, he's got a finger up his ass and he's going, I don't like ICE. He's literally doing that. So that's Greg Abbott, anti-Texas ICE, amid Texas anti-ICE protests. The move is a precautionary measure to ensure peace and order, according to the governor. That's what you do. That's what you do. You bring out the National Guard when that's what they're for. When you've got an event that local law enforcement can't take care of, can't handle, and good Lord, we know in Seattle we don't have enough cops to handle a big event. And this weekend, June 14th, might be a big event. I'm going to try and live stream it, hopefully. I'm looking at getting some security. I need some more bodies with me. Here's a mayor. This is a mayor of a purple city. You got Austin, Texas. Everybody knows Austin's pretty liberal. But even there, you're in a Republican-run state. Orders from the top down. Hey, governor says, bring in the National Guard. Austin Mayor Kirk Watson says National Guard is ready to assist during upcoming protests. Wildly different perspective. Hey, you're going to have protests come up where people are going to pull some shenanigans. What could go wrong? And you're going to need to have the National Guard ready to roll to step in. This is what adults in the room do. This is an adult. What we've got going on in Washington State is some delusional adolescents at best making terrible decisions that impact the safety of their constituents. What did you expect would happen in a state that went even further blue and the rest of the country went red? What did you expect would happen? This is it, right? This is it. We've got some other crazy stuff. Republicans push federal ban on blocking interstates after the LA riots caused highway chaos. Absolutely. Make that a federal crime. Can't block the freeway. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things that should be just innate to an adult, to a fully functioning human being. But most of these folks doing the protesting, they are not fully functioning human beings. They are at adolescent level at best, and they're mentally challenged at worst. They're literally like, you know what I mean? They're working on a different set of circumstances that don't really work. Bob Ferguson, our guy, prepares for possibility of Trump deploying troops in Washington. Governor planned to meet with the state's top officials after the president sent the National Guard and Marines to respond to LA protests. So even our governor is basically stating, no, we're not going to help ICE. We're not going to cooperate with ICE. How come, Bob? Why not? Why not? I mean, you want to prevent them from deporting criminal illegals? Is that's what you're saying? That's what you're saying. So you had a meeting with all your state's top military officials to have a response for when Trump does the adult-like thing, brings in the National Guard, and quells whatever disturbance that you and your state National Guard and your local police, maybe your county police, can't control. It's going to be a showdown, folks. It's going to be wild. I mean, some crazy stuff. It's Trump's playbook, and it's pushing people to the right because people are looking at this going, yeah, we support the right to protest. We support peaceful protesting. You want to take a flag and walk on the sidewalk? That's okay. But walking on the freeway, like we're looking at here, walking on the freeway, and screaming horrible death threats to law enforcement. Rest of the country looks at that and goes, no, that's not part of the deal here. That's not the American dream. That's the absolute American nightmare. And that's why we created America, to get away from this kind of ridiculousness, to get away from this kind of tyranny, which is if you don't do what we say, which is abolish ICE, right? You read all the signs, all the just ridiculousness. Impeach Trump, abolish ICE, abolish judges. We had that split second during the fentanyl Floyd era where Defund the police was a genius concept, just like abolish ICE. Oh, you want to abolish ICE? You don't want to have borders anymore? Oh, okay. You don't want to have law enforcement anymore? You don't want to have police anymore? That's what the far left is requesting. That is part of their fundamental ideology. And Democrats, as a result, that falls onto the Democrat side. And the majority of folks don't believe in abolishing police, don't believe in abolishing the judicial system, don't believe in getting rid of judges, don't believe in going down these roads that are just absolutely Looney Tunes. Even if they were a Democrat before, they are being pushed with this kind of silliness far to the right. Check this one out. This is wild. I did a full podcast on this the other day. Legal immigrants have swung 40 points right on immigration, favoring Republicans, favoring the GOP, a polling expert. And this is a CNN polling expert. I mean, it was mind-blowing. Now, I don't put a lot of weight on polls because the polls told us the last election was so close. It's so tight. We can't call it. And then Trump just ran train on Kamala Harris. I mean, just yeah, just right over the top of her. Just absolutely drilled her. I love talking about that. It's the greatest thing ever, right? Kamala Harris, you're a 2-time loser, and if you run again, you're going to be a 3-time loser. So, Republicans now lead on this issue by 8 points over Democrats, more so than any other group that I could find. And what he's talking about is legal immigrants, those who have the right to vote. They have gone through the massive process to become a United States citizen. Now they are in the country illegally. They have the right to vote. And guess which way they're voting? Red. You know why? Because they got their piece of the American pie. They've got their citizenship. Now they want to live the American dream. And the American dream doesn't mean having people running around on the freeway protesting that everybody should go back to Mexico, that Mexico is so great. They left Mexico. They left wherever. They came here. They want to be here. And if there's criminals from other countries here impacting their experience as they finally made it, they're a legal voting immigrant, they want those criminal illegals to be out. It's going far right. And I think that's what so much of what we have going on right now is that swing. It's that massive swing. And we know with the Hispanic vote in the last election, how far things shifted, even with the black vote. Because you got black people that are just fed up with Democrats telling them, I just keep voting for us, it'll get better. And black constituents are saying it's not getting better. We actually had it better under Trump because everybody's quality of life went up. And during, Sleepy Joe, he went from 1.4% inflation and Sleepy Joe took office to over 9% in a couple of years. Sleepy Joe told us that everything was great. Mainstream media told us that Sleepy Joe was perfectly capable of doing the job. And then, you got all these books being written. Oh, he was just, from day one of the presidency, they had to work his schedule around to make sure Sleepy Joe would be standing upright at noon when he had his first appointment of the day. I mean, just wild stuff. They got the auto pen going. I mean, just a bunch of craziness, right? Just about like what Seattle's going to experience this weekend. I think we're gonna see some absolute craziness. Hopefully I'll be there. I got a boat trip I got to run earlier in the day on Saturday, June the 14th, that I committed to a while ago. And then I'm going to hop off the boat. I'm going to take an Uber into downtown Seattle, which is like a 5-minute Uber. We're going to do either a live stream or I'm going to get some footage on just how silly Seattle has become. So I hope you join me. Love to have you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you get notified each time new content comes out, which is twice a day, Monday through Friday, once on Saturday, once on Sunday. Who else is doing that? Give me a subscribe just for my volume of content, right? Thanks again for being here. And if you like this video, give a like for that as well. Thanks again. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.